Episode 133, Hollywood Blockbuster to category Mega Operations Status Fires Herafti for CEO approval. All figures pending fact. Check C. See research. MIDI. Oh, 101 fee to welcome to Cost Atlas. The hidden cost of everything. Today, what a blockbuster actually costs. And why the number you've been told is less than half of it. You've heard the number. The $200 million movie. We say it like it's the price tag. It isn't. It's barely half the bill. Fisikschien, 15 to zo 121, Coast ATLS AHEODE HTOF Ever YWA Sections 71 to 1D 101. When a studio announces a blockbuster's budget, they're announcing one specific thing, the production cost. In the trade, it's called the negative cost, what it takes to actually shoot the film and get it finished. The stars, the crew, the sets, the visual effects. And that part is genuinely enormous. A modern tentpole, a Marvel, a major franchise runs around $200 million before anyone has bought a single ticket. So that's the cost, right? Here's the strange part. That $200 million only pays to make the film. It doesn't pay to make you care. And making you care is its own budget. A second one, almost exactly as large, that the studio never puts on the poster. So, what does a blockbuster really cost? What's the one what is intent to 640 or Ezra? Start with the part they do tell you about. Where does that $200 million actually go? It splits into 4 machines. First, what the industry calls above, the line. The people locked in before a single frame is shot. The lead cast. The director. The producers. The rights to the story itself. This is where the eye-watering paydays live. A top-tier star doesn't just take a salary. They take a cut of the film's earnings. What's called back-end or gross points. On the biggest films, a single lead has reportedly walked away with tens of millions of dollars from one movie. For our $200 million tentpole, the talent and creative leadership alone runs around $60 million. Then there's below the line, everything it takes to physically run the shoot. And a blockbuster shoot is a small traveling city. 500, sometimes well over 1,000 people. Sets built and struck. Locations across continents. A single day of shooting on a film this size can cost $300,000 to $500,000, and principal photography can run for months. Add it up, and the physical production comes to around $70 million. Now the part audiences most underestimate. After the shoot ends, the most expensive work often begins. A heavy tentpole can contain 2,000 to 3,000 individual visual effects shots, each one built by hand, frame by frame, by studios around the world. Add the editing, the sound mix, the original orchestral score, the color and visual effects, and post can swallow $50 to $150 million on the biggest films. For our model films, about $55 million. And then the least glamorous money of all, the cost of the money itself. Studios charge overhead, typically around 15% of the budget. There's interest on the financing. There's a completion bond, insurance, and a contingency for the overruns that are almost guaranteed on a production this size. Call it another $15 million. 60, 70, 50, 5, 15. There's your $200 million. There's the budget. And if that were the whole story, this would be a short video. Because here's what that $200 million does not pay for. It does not pay to tell anyone the film exists. That's a separate budget. In the trade it's called P and A, prints and advertising, the global ad campaign. The trailers, themselves expensively made, the billboards in every city, the TV and streaming buys, the press tours, the premieres, the merchandising push, and the rule of thumb across the industry is blunt for a wide release blockbuster. The marketing budget roughly equals the production budget. Often more. For our film, that's another $200 million. A number that never appears on a single poster. Think about what that means. The single largest cost of a blockbuster isn't the stars. It isn't the effects. It's convincing you the blockbuster is worth leaving the house for. I Sir 660-40 Sound 35. So let's answer the real question. Add the part they announce to the part they don't. $200 million to make it. Roughly $200 million to sell it. The true, all in cost of putting a single $200 million blockbuster in front of the world is closer to $400 million. But even that isn't the finish line, because the studio doesn't keep what you pay. When you buy a ticket, the cinema keeps roughly half. The studio only sees the other half, which leads to the number that runs this entire industry. Averages, 175 who 8 sounds 55 to earn back $400 million when you only keep half of every ticket. A $200 million movie has to sell on the order of $500 million of tickets just to break even. About 2.5 times the budget you were told. That's the wall every blockbuster has to clear before it makes a single dollar of profit. $500 million in tickets is roughly 40 million seats, to like filling a 50,000-seat stadium 800 times over. And that is the real shape of a blockbuster. The cost you're shown, the budget, is the advertised number. The real cost is nearly double it, and the bar it has to clear is nearly triple. Most of the money a blockbuster spends, and most of what it has to earn back, lives entirely outside the figure printed next to its name. It's not a scandal. It's the machine. The budget is the number that gets the headline. The second budget is the number that decides whether the film survives. And it's almost invisible by design. It's 835 to 900. So the next time you hear the $200 million movie, remember what that number actually is. It's not the price of the film. It's the price of making it. And there's a second one, just as large, for making sure you ever heard about it at all. That's what we do here at Cost Atlas. We find the bill that isn't on the receipt, for the things you thought you already understood. Next time, the thing that's quietly replacing all of this. What does it really cost to make a single season of a streaming show? And why the most expensive shows on Earth may never sell a ticket at all? This was Cost Atlas, the hidden cost of everything. See you in the next one. Subscribe, the hidden cost of everything.